And I know you guys been waiting for a long time, and so have I, as a matter of fact. And tonight, what we're going to try to do is make sure you get your money's worth. If I die tomorrow, you'll have the secrets of trading, the biggest part of them. But you're going to get the basic secret of the max tonight. Like I say, it's not complicated, but it's not going to be easy, because you see up there at the top of the screen, I say patience. And I've got to drill that into you. I've got to teach you to get rid of the habits that you got wherever it is that you learn to trade. And I'm not saying they're all bad, but most people come here with a lot of bad habits that we have to get rid of. So I don't want you trading with any other system. I don't want you using any other charting program or anything else while the max training is going on. There's no need to have a divided mind about things going on here. And I'll do my best to make sure you get your money's worth, whether you like it or not. There's going to be a lot of homework. And there's going to be a lot of emails, so get ready for that. Those of you who don't like emails might as well opt out now, because we grade each other's homework, and everybody does their homework, and everybody sees everybody else's homework in the comments that one of us graders, Craig or myself or Eusebio or Wayne Voss, whoever grades your homework, everybody gets to see it. And that's part of the training and learning process, is to see the mistakes of others. Almost everybody can learn from somebody else's mistake. Most people just can't learn from their own mistakes. So we're going to see if we can correct that as far as max goes. And just before the program opened up this morning, I was looking at the pound dollar here, that I made two beautiful trades this morning. I made about a year's pips in about 5 hours, 6 hours on the 5-minute chart. And I'll show you those where those trades occurred tonight before the trading's on. And in your homework, in your posting, be courteous. Just remember that there's 85 people that get your message, and they don't mind reading it and stuff, but the point is, unnecessary emails aren't going to make anybody happy with people. I've got a background noise I've got to fix here. I don't know what happened to that. And by the way, any of you who know about Oklahoma weather, we're under tornado alerts all around the area where I live tonight. They've been happening north and west of us all evening. So if I should disappear over the air, you'll know that something happened with the weather here. We'll hope that doesn't happen. We don't trade the news. We trade a method that's proven to be tried and true. It's not a system per se, because systems don't work. Methods are adaptable to the change that goes on in the Forex. And the Forex is dynamic. It changes every day, except we have a system that it has to, or a method that the Forex has to go through to get where it's going price-wise. And that's the secret to it, that we take what Mother Nature gives us. We don't force trades. We don't wait around on trades. What we do is we look to see what Mother Nature is going to give us. Our software has signals built into it that will drive you crazy, going bing, 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 if you have a trade or something that you need to look at. And that's part of the key. So we're going to teach you about, a lot of you know what candlesticks are. That's a candlestick chart in front of you. And we're going to teach you the 4 candle patterns that will make you a lot of money. You know, if you never learn anything but these 4, you will know what they do and how they function in the Forex markets. We're going to teach you about stops. Stops are going to be in every session we have. We're going to teach you how to get out. But I want to remind you that stops are for emergencies only. If you make the right kind of entry, you shouldn't have that much drawdown. And Eusebio and those people that are doing well with our system will tell you that probably 80% of the time when you get into a trade with the max, it's going to go your direction right off. In those few instances that it doesn't, your stop will be far enough away that it won't bankrupt you if it has to go that. But we're looking from 30 to 50 pip stops on the 5-minute chart. And that's what you're looking at here is a 5-minute pound dollar. And I'll enlarge the candlesticks in a few minutes to show you what. The blue lines, that's a moving average. That's what we call home base. Now, everybody played baseball knows what home base is, and people who played cricket should know what home base is. So that's home base for the Forex, and I'm going to show you how that works in a few minutes, because price is always trying to get back to that line or away from it when it gets there. So this is the advantage we have over most folks. They don't have a clue where home base is. They don't have a clue where price is or anything else. We're going to teach you about reverses. We're going to teach you about divergence. We're not going to dwell a lot on that. There's lots of books and stuff out on reverses and divergence, but when we do a reverse, we've got a better than 80% chance of having the reverse go in our direction, where most people don't have a clue. So we're going to take it one step at a time. Our graduates are doing well. Part of your homework is going to be graded by our graduate students who do it for free because they want to help other people. And we kind of work together. This is a team here. And I'm going to say this again. I want everybody to put their name over there so I can call you Dan. Dan J doesn't mean anything to me. Do you know how many Dans I've got in my email address? About 30 of them. So I want Dan Jones, Bob Smith, Emerson Roman M. Santos. Now that's I love that name. Emerson Roman M. Santos. See. Gina Ando, that's a great name. So if you're not proud of your name, you shouldn't be here. We want people who don't mind other people knowing who they are, because we're here, and you're going to meet a lot of friends here over time with email and people who grading your homeworks and commenting on it and so forth. By the way, you don't have to tell me thank you after I do something. That just takes up email space. In other words, if I grade your homework, you don't have to come back and say, thank you, Jim, I appreciate it. Don't worry about it. I know you appreciate it, or you wouldn't be here. And so don't feel that you have to do something. And somebody else does something for you, please don't take a lot of time and send out all those extraneous emails. If 85 people wanted to do their homework, that's 170 home posts. And then if they all wanted to thank us for their homework, that's another 170 posts. So you know how many posts we'd be getting a day, 300 to 400. And that's too many. We want good, solid homework, and we can go from there. Okay, we're going to teach you about scrolls, but the main thing is discipline and patience. Mother Nature's going to be good to you if you just give her a chance. You cannot force a trade. Now I'm going to do something here, and I'm going to take this chart and I'm going to hit the home button, and you can see it's all the way back to the back of this chart. Okay. I hear people talking behind me or above me. Okay, now this chart goes back to November the 6th, right there. This is where it begins. Now, why do I call it home base year? I think you're going to see that this 233 Fibonacci moving average is where price tries to get to, and look what happens when it goes away from home base. Look at that. Do you think you could trade that if you knew how to spot it before it happens? And then look here, it goes back to home base, then it decides to go up for a while. Home base, up, home base, up, home base. It's trying to get back to that home base. That's Mother Nature's home right there. And it's not nice to mess with Mother Nature. So if you let her, we have a way of her telling you and us what's going to happen here, or at least what's likely to happen. And see, it comes back to home base down here, back to home base. Nobody knows that. Very few people have a clue that there is such a thing as a home base. Look at that, how it comes off a home base there. Goes right back, hangs around home base some more. And so that's going to be one of your first exercises. Write this down. I'm going to send you a template of everything that we do. There's going to be a template you'll get out, and any indicators that we use, you will be sent the indicators and the template. All you have to do is put them in your MT4 and you'll be up and running. You don't have to use a lot of judgment on stuff, as long as you understand how to put indicators and templates on the MT4 for charts. But look at this. This is home base, and look where price goes. Price tries to get back there. And if you have any doubt when price leaves home base, you go the way price goes. You don't try to force a trade or try to figure out what it's going to do. Let it do what it wants to do. Our job is to make you smart enough so that you have some idea what it wants to do. So, I got some noise in the background here. Somebody talking over me. It sounded like a female voice. I know it's not from this end. Yeah.
Unmuted.
I can't hear anything out of our end, Jim.
Oh, that's okay. Well, you see, now look here. See, home base, look at that head fake down here.
Muted.
Down here before it went that way. All the suckers bit and traded right there, and they went south. But see, Mother Nature took us north. And look at that. Now, if you want to know which way to trade when that's an angle like that, which way are you going to trade? You're going to trade in the direction of where Mother Nature's home's going. See, and when it starts this way, then it goes down this way. But that's what we call home base. Now, I don't want to bore you with this. You're going to have to do your own scrolls on your own charts to understand what I'm talking about. I've scrolled probably 10,000 charts in the last 4 or 5 years to figure out what this thing is, what Mother Nature is telling us. Because, see, the answer to trading is right there on the screen. You don't have to make anything up. We have some indicators that will help you determine what it's likely to do, but you just go with the way it goes. Look at that. Is that not beautiful? Now, we're back here. See, look, it tried to get back there to home base. It didn't quite get there. Now, if you were going to trade that, what would you do? Would you sell there? Absolutely. But if you didn't know where home base was, it wouldn't make any difference what it did up there. You wouldn't have a clue. Okay. Now, we're just up to the 21st of November. Have you seen how many big trades there have been in just the 5 or 6 or 10 days that we've scrolled through here? Look at those big trades there. Every one of those trades worth 200 or 300 pips. Look at that. Is that not beautiful? Remember the old kaleidoscopes and the old scroll things when we were kids, and you scroll through your chart and you see stuff like this? Mother Nature is showing you what to do here. We're going to have you teach you ways to figure out what Mother Nature is trying to tell you. We don't second guess her because she's always right, and the price is always right. And what we have to do is just determine which way she's going, then follow her. Don't try to lead her. It's a terrible thing when you start trying to lead the Forex around. Okay, you see those? Anyway, I wanted to make a point here that we depend on that home base. Now, when I get back here at the end, I'm going to add another indicator that'll give us a clue. So I'm going to go back to the front here. Now I'm going to add what we call the momentum line. Let me just go back and I'll add them all at one time. Template. Basic mix. Okay. Now to this, we add the red line and the blue line. Those are balance lines. They come usually in between the momentum line and home base. Momentum is determining which way price is going. Now what we're going to do here, I'm going to add what I call our training wheels to the momentum line. This indicator is normally used on the other platform that's only got 4. Now we got it. Okay, you remember when you were all kids and you had those little bicycles that had little wheels on the back that you had to learn? We call those training wheels. So what we've added here, I'm going to move this. Don't pay any attention to the bottom down here. As a matter of fact, that shouldn't even
unmuted
yet.
That's also a 15-minute chart, Jim.
Yeah, I'm going to go back now. I was messed with the training wheels. Thanks. Okay.
Muted.
Now let's spread this out a bit so you can get a little better look at it. Can you all see those? See that pretty good? Okay. Now, this is Mother Nature's home. Prices, you don't worry much about price, anything doing that, because everything that happens is going to come out of there going one direction or the other. Now, the momentum line, this is to determine where you enter your trades. You see, when price came out of there, look at that angle and look at the angle of the two balance lines. Comes out there, that tells you that there's a trade here. So we would enter the trade probably at about the top of that line. This is going up. That's way out of the 10 period training wheels. So it's got to, if it's within the 10 period on either side of the momentum line, it's not a trade and it's not tradable. And it's not tradable as long as it's mixed in with spaghetti or all this kind of junk here. This is to keep you out of bad trades. Price has got to be outside of the momentum line and the training wheels in the beginning. Now, we remove those as the course goes along because you really won't need them once you figure out what an entry looks like. So let's go back here. Now, since Mother Nature is going this way, we wouldn't want to trade this way, right? We would want to trade this way. So if price came out here, price is out of the training wheels, you've got the setup, the first bar that closes outside the momentum line. That's called a setup bar. The next bar that closes above the setup bar becomes your entry bar. So therefore your entry would be somewhere on that bar there, depending on who you are. But as long as you're outside that 10 pip zone, this is where you would trade. Now, you would get up here, you get a situation like that, and I'm just going to tell you this is a place where you would exit, at least all or part of your trade. So that's not much of a little trade, but let's just assume you entered on halfway up that bar. You exited right there. That's 55 pips. How many of you made 55 pips today? Now, it goes back down, and it comes back out, so we have another trade. But this bar is too long to trade, so I don't trade situations like that. I'm going to see what the next bar does, and if the next bar is blue, the next bar I'm going to look at it. If that next bar is red, then we didn't really get a good setup. Anytime you have an elongated setup bar, I don't trade it, and it's just good sense to do it that way. So anyway, this is your first trade example here. Now let's go on down. Now let's go back here. Let's go back to where this trade begins. Okay, now this trade actually began right here. Now since that's the setup bar has gone above the 10 pip channel, why would you not trade that? Anybody got any ideas? Type them up if you got an idea. We don't trade it because of the word spaghetti. This is spaghetti in here. Anytime you got all three lines inside that momentum channel, that's not tradable. All you're doing is begging for a reversal like this. Takes you way up there, and then look what it does to you. Get you down here where you're going to get stopped out and lose a bunch of pippies. The next thing here, the same thing. Now, you get over here, you're outside of the home base, so you're already above it, so you know you're going to trade up anytime this is at an angle and these bars are above the home base. Then you get a little channel here. Some of you may have read Bob Williams' book, Trading in Chaos. So these are offset, so you get to see them, but you can see that you've got some space here. You've got some angles here and separation beginning, so your entry on this momentum trade would be right here. If you didn't enter here, you would wait until this makes a pullback near the momentum line. You're always going to make your entries going this direction, but you're going to wait until it comes to near the momentum line, and you've got a perfect situation right there. Goes down, goes up. And so you've got a perfect entry. Now, then you have scale ins. Here's a scale in right here. And then you've got another scale in right here. When that little ledge, when price goes above that top of that red bar, you've got a scale in there. Then you've got a scale in right here. If that bar turns blue, you can enter immediately. And then when this stuff goes sideways up here, and there are reasons for that because of the candlesticks and the shape and form that you have right there, why that's a place where you would exit to trade. We're going to teach you all of that. But since you can see the answers, I'm trying to just get in your mind what a perfect mow. Now write this down. Perfect mow. That's where price is out of the training wheels. The balance line and the momentum line are going in the same direction that Mother Nature's home base are. And it's far enough away here so that you can actually see some angle and separation there. The rest of this garbage in here, people try to trade this, and that's why they lose money. There's no way you can enter a trade there and do anything with it, or any of this stuff. See, this is going up. You're going to trade up. Now look, you got a perfect mow starting right here. Look at that. This is already going up. Price has bounced off of home base. The minute it goes above the training wheels there, you've got an entry right there. You've got a scale in right above this ledge right here. And we're going to show you ways to tell that. You've got a scale in there. And you've got an exit right there. Now, is Eusebio here? Yo, Eusebio. Okay. Well, Vanessa, I've read some of your posts, and it sounds like to me you can walk straight and chew gum at the same time. So if you've got a pencil and a piece of paper, I'd like to enlist your help here. Okay? Vanessa? No, there's no spaghetti here. This is not spaghetti. You're waiting for the spaghetti. See, you're looking here. Let me mark this. You don't trade in spaghetti. That's not spaghetti when you get that angle there. It might be a little higher. Actually, it might be right there before you, so you can actually see that there's some angle and separation there. See that? That's the spaghetti's back here. That's no entry, and this is a bounce off of that. So that's a good sign that it's going to go back up right there. Okay, Vanessa. Okay, Vanessa, I want you to add this up for me. Now, there's your entry, and we always enter with 2 units. Now, a unit can be a penny, can be a dime, can be $1, it can be $10. It's whatever you feel that's comfortable in trading. I've got a lady who started out with $500 in her account playing penny pips, 0.01, and she's run it into over $2,000 in the last few months. That's Cynthia's mother. Okay, now let's do a little checking here. So right here, if you entered here and exited here, that's 96 pips twice. Write that down, 192 pips. On your scale in, about right there, 79 pips twice. On your scale in right here, 32 pips twice. Okay, how'd we do? $4.14. Eusebio, you're already out there. Maybe you add faster than Vanessa. Sorry, disconnection. Bye. Okay. All right, Vanessa, 4.14. Now, would you tell me that that's not a bad piece of work for an hour and 5 minutes? 13 bars. That's not bad, is it? Now, that trade started at, actually came across there at about 1 o'clock in the morning. But still, that's what you get when you're diligent. Now, we've got a binger that will cross when price crosses the yellow momentum line or when price crosses the home base line. Those are the 2 most important crosses that you can make. But you don't get those till later in the program. You got to learn how to spot these things. Okay. Any questions about how we counted those pips? People complain that they don't, we don't count pips right. Well, see, I don't care how they count pips. I'm telling you how many pips you made on that trade. Now, 414 pips and an hour's work, and that's a month's pips for most people. If they're lucky, they'll get 414 pips in a month. Okay. Eusebio does that 3 times a day. He's my $1 million man. That's why we call the max now the $1 million max. He's done $1 million worth of trading since August. Over 200,000 pips. Okay. Now, but that's just an example. So let's go back a little ways. We don't really see any perfect mows here. None of that stuff is tradable. just pure garbage. It's going the wrong direction. This is going up, that's going down. So let's go back now. Look here. Look what we caught here. We caught a fish, a big fish. Look at here. Whew, look at here. Now see, by being patient, you see that word, patient? This trade started at, it crossed the line at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. No, 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay. That started, it's already crossed the mow line, and so now it had to transverse through Mother Nature's house here to get by, and everything's above us in the right direction. So you've got an entry. Your best entry is probably right there at the bottom of that ledge, because you've got your angle and separation between the momentum line and the two balance lines, and the balance lines, they have all crossed Mother Nature's home base. So there's your first entry. Now, this one's not going to go very far. You're not going to get many scale ins, but you'd get a scale in right here. I'm going to show you how we arrive at those in a minute. And right here, when this goes down, you're probably going to take some profit. But I'm not going to worry about profit taking right now. So now your next, either a scale in or a new momentum entry, new mo, would begin right here. As soon as that price crosses that 10 pip line. Actually, since you're already in a trade, you don't have to obey the 10 pip rule, but let's do it anyway. So there's your another entry. And then it goes up here, and since we can see the answer, we're going to check out right here. We're going to do an XXX right there. So now and since you can see the answer, I want you to see the answer so you know what an exit looks like. This angle, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blue bars in a row. 3 to 5 is normal, but when you get 7 in a row like that, I'm looking for a place to exit because I know it's going to reverse. That's called the 3 to 5 bar rule. And it could be 7, it could be 3, but somewhere between 3 and 3 to 5 is the average here. But you see that angle? Normally price goes up in say maybe a 45-degree line, like that. But see, look at this angle. This is an 85-degree. Well, what did I do here? I didn't mean that. Price goes up here. This is about an 85-degree angle. Anytime you get an angle like that, you know it's going to come right back down at least 50% of the way. And to prove that, we'll draw a little Fibonacci here. Start there, bring it down to the bottom of that. Now look where that price came right back down to, 50%. It kind of hung around the 60%, 40%, and then 50%, and crossed the 60% line before it went back up. So we know those things, they happen, not because we know they're going to happen, because they're likely to happen. That's what Fibonacci is all about. We're going to teach you just enough about Fibonacci during a training to be dangerous, but you don't need to know much more if you're following. All of these lines, all of these EMAs are based on Fibonacci numbers. Some people say I'm nuts, but I've proven them wrong about trading on a lot of them. Okay, now, so let's go ahead and go back here and draw that. And what little stuff we had there sideways. Now, we're going here, and now it comes back here. We exited there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make what we call a remo. Right there. Now, as soon as that bar clears that training wheel line, you've got an entry. It's not the first entry. It's only an entry where you've had a trade and price, you know you've got separation and angle, and so there you just obey the 10 pip rule. Pretty soon you'll be able to eyeball the 10 pips. You won't need the training wheel lines. And so now you're going to get a lot of scale ins here. You get a good one right there. You get a good one right there at the top of that ledge. It comes right off there, off of a mow. And then you get another one right here, right there. And you can space these out. You don't have to take all of them you get, but when you get something like that, you don't want to. Now you get up here at the top and look at those. I can tell by those candlesticks that this noise in there is telling me that this is probably a good place to check out. Now let's don't count the first one. Let's count just the second mow here. This second mow lasted 35 bars, which is 3 hours and 15 minutes. No, 3 hours. Not quite 3 hours. And the first part of it was 90 pips twice. Who's adding? And then the second part of it was 54 pips twice. The third part was 55 pips twice. The fourth part was 32 pips twice. And the last part was 37 pips twice. Now, I want to call your attention to a couple of things here. Did you ever have any risk once price got up to when this bar closed? Did you ever have any risk? Rarely. You had it all covered by the time you took your first scale in, so you're not worried about margin because the price itself and the gain itself is covering your subsequent trades. It doesn't always work that way, but in a perfect mow, the mow will pay for itself. And you have to parlay it as you do in golf or football or anything. You parlay your winning. How many pips did we do there in that 3-hour period? 536, is that all? Damn. Okay, I'm joking. How many of you made 536 pips or know anybody that made 536 pips last month? Now, this first part of it, gee, I hate to even admit it, but look at this. You entered on your ledge right there, 147 twice. The whole thing took 27 bars, so that would be 4 hours and, let's see, how many, 24, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Now, the second part of it, you had 96 twice. The next part, you had 102 twice. $690. See, that was even more of a trade than the other one. And that's only because you learned how to spot these situations, because you had this situation going on here, angle and separation. Write those two words down. They're going to be very important in your life. There's no such thing as a perfect angle, but that is a perfect mow. You've got angle and separation between the yellow and the blue, the mow line and ballast line. You've crossed Mother Nature's house, and she welcomed you on your way. And there you go, and she throws a little pips your way. So between those two trades, there's over 1,000 pips in about 5 hours. Now, this one started watching it about right here, at 3 o'clock in the morning. And you were out of the whole dang deal by, 11:15 in the morning.
Unmuted.
About 8 hours, and you made 1,000 pips.
Hey, Jim.
That's what,
You
yes,
might be overselling the course a bit. Remember that you've got 5 digits on the end and not 4. So your pips could be...
I'm counting them that way. No, I'm counting them that way. No, I'm counting them that way.
Okay.
See, I'm not counting the last digits, no. If you let me check a look and make sure. No. That goes all the way up to there. That's 144 pips and 6/10.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No, I'm counting. Oh, no, I'm counting it that way. Okay.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Muted.
Okay, now let's go on back here. Thank you, though, for reminding me. Okay, now you see all this garbage in here? Now look at this. Now, why would you not trade that? There's a couple of 3 reasons you wouldn't trade it. But it went through the training wheels. But see, you got that long, your first bar is a long bar and the second bar is a long bar. You know darn well that it's going to bounce back about 60%, and it did probably exactly 60%. Now let's take a look and see if I'm right. Pretty soon you'll be able to spot these things without any help. But the more help you get, the better off you're going to be. Now let's put that back on there. And we Fibonacci started. Well, I can't get it down there. There we go. Right there. Now you see that bounced back up about 80%, as a matter of fact. Then it went right back down to the 23% and hung around the 50% before it went back up to 161%, which is the next Fibonacci line. This one hung around the 127.5 line. and do there. Now, there's no such thing as perfect numbers or perfect trading, but they will fall. You will see it in learning. Probably the next step. Look where it went here. It went right on up to this at 261, and then started backwards. Okay, so much for the Fibonacci. Now, anybody that tries to trade stuff like this is a sucker, and that's why they take our money. Chris, can you show those pictures
Unmuted.
we were talking about earlier today?
Yes, but I'd have
Of
to
the trading room.
I'd have to become a presenter.
Well, become the presenter for a minute, and I can talk while you have the.
Okay.
I can talk while you put.
I'll just
picture.
call the program
Okay,
up.
Chris is going to show you some pictures that I sent him this afternoon. He put in the computer, and I'm going to show you what you're up against in trading forex. It's not near as easy as the gurus make it, but it's not nearly as hard if you just patient and disciplined to do it right. They can't take your money if you're betting on the right place.
Okay.
See, that's not a.
Only got
that's
the
not
one
an entry.
presenter. Only the one image. So here it comes.
Okay. He's going to knock me out, or knock me off the charts. I'm no longer the presenter.
And okay, here we go.
I think you clicked the wrong one. It says Jim Pruitt was made presenter. You are no longer the presenter. Oh, here it is. Okay. Now, let me hit OK here. Get that out of the middle of your screen. Okay. See, you see that trading room? Those are all trained and expert traders. That's for the UBS, one of the biggest banks in the country. One that just went broke, as a matter of fact. It was on television the other day. Excuse me while I take a drink of cough syrup here. But that's who you're up against. You know what these people do? They sit there 8, 10, 12 hours a day. I guess they're paid on a commission, base salary plus commission. And they're trading the same stuff that we're trading, and each one of those traders probably has maybe 1 or 2 pairs of currency that they follow, maybe only one. And maybe this area of the bank is the New Zealand dollar, U.S. dollar. Maybe this area right here could be the, the euro dollar. But that's what you're up against here. You're not up against small potatoes like me and Eusebio, and as good as Eusebio is, we're just small potatoes in the market. They just put up with us, is what it amounts to. And Wayne Voss and some of the other folks that have taken our course. And every day I sent you out a couple of posts that I got today from 2 graduates on a couple of good days that they've had. So is there any other pictures you have, Chris?
One moment.
Okay. The Tiger's Den. You see this on here? It says the Tiger's Den. Strictly your own risk. That's us, the Tiger's Den Google group. Oh, yeah.
Oops. Sorry, guys.
It's all right.
That's about the only other one I've got.
Okay, but look at this. This is another big trading room. Another bank.
Oh, that's Citibank. Oops.
Yeah, that's Citibank. You see, some of them have 4 screens, some of them have 2 screens. I guess the senior trader would get 6 screens. I don't know. But that's who we're up against. Those are the people who really know the money game. Once in a while, you'll find people outside of those trading rooms that make a lot of money trading. And most of them don't try to teach it either.
Okay,
And,
back to you, Jim.
The reason okay, back to me. Okay, how do I get? Oh, do I go up here and click change me? Okay, organizer me. Yeah.
Muted.
Okay, guys. Okay, so you see what you're up against in this game, and if you don't have a game plan and you don't have some idea what you're doing, they are going to take your candy like the bully at your school took your lunch money every day when you were in school, unless you were the bully, of course. But bullies around here, you don't carry, none of us carry enough weight. These trading rooms have millions, maybe billions of dollars that they're trading with each day. Now see, here's another one that started the day before the other one that we went here. So you had your first notice right here, but we're still in a little spaghetti. So this isn't the place. You just bypass that. Otherwise, you're doing sucker play. But look what happens here. It always comes back and makes 90% of the time will make that pullback, which is absolutely perfect for us. Now look how that entry is absolutely perfect. There's your setup bar was right here, and there's your entry bar. And then right here, you would, I'll mark that because I'll talk to you about MXs. Now you're going along here sideways. I'm not much to take scale ins, although that would be a possible scale in. But then when you get a pullback like this, and the minute that bar turns blue and goes past the tie of that red bar, that's a scale in. You go on up, you've probably got another scale in right here somewhere. And you got a doji light bar, inside bar. That's two of our places, but you would exit somewhere, somewhere on this line. Somewhere along here. I won't say where because that's kind of an option, but you've got all of these things telling you that the chances are it's going to go down. When it goes down, look how many bars it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it told you, I'm going to do this to you, so watch out. And see, it goes right under the momentum line, although we don't trade that stuff. There are ways of doing this kind of stuff, and the reason we know where these exits are, you're going to get that information in the next session, Saturday. But first of all, you've got to learn to spot these perfect mows. And when you find an entry like that, you're going to mark that entry with a vertical line, so I'll know that you know what you did. You're going to mark that entry with a vertical line, and you're going to mark this entry with a vertical line. So when you send in your homework, you're going to have these vertical lines to tell me that, my God, Vanessa knew what the heck she was doing. You see, and then you got your exit line there. So there I know, that's exit. Slanted bars are for scale ins or mows, and this is a partial exit right there, which you don't have to worry about right now. Okay, so see how easy it is for me to grade your homework to see if you're getting the concept. Now, if you can't do this, even with the answers on the screen, if you start making bad decisions, like some of you are going to send in a trade and say, oh my golly, it was right there, there was the entry, and I went flat right there when it hit there. Well, see, that's not a trade. It's not even a bad mo. It's just a bad trade is all it would be. Whoops, see, I mark that. Okay, now let's go back a little further. These things just happen 10 of them a day or 20 a day. You don't have to mess with crap like this. Look at this. Boy, that's enough to be real tempting to most traders when it breaks out of here. See, but they don't know about home base. They don't have a clue. Most traders use a 20-period moving average, that's Oscar Velez, and a 200-period moving average, and they don't have a clue what's going on in this stuff. I mean, Oscar Velez is probably a great trader, and he teaches a lot of great trade. I'm not belittling him, but most of them don't have a clue what this is called here and why it's the way it is. They haven't scrolled across 10,000 charts to see what happened. Do you think I could plan that draw line that would hit those things like that every time? Look at that. Mother Nature is there, and she's telling us, and she's giving her secrets to us if we're good boys and girls. Now look at that. You got a perfect entry there. This is angling up. Cross there. You're past the training wheels. Now it wasn't much of a little trade. You exit right there. And I can tell you that's an exit without even looking at anything else. And even if you only had the one scale in here, right there, you actually had two. But let's see how much period of time. That whole trade took 55 minutes. And the first part was 52 pips twice. And the second part was 36 pips twice. And how many pips is that? $176. Bill, good to see you there. Roman, I don't understand your question, so we have to wait until home base lines has an angle. Yes, even that slight angle tells you that we're going to trade up. Now, if it's flat like this, if price were going away from it, it would still be okay. But when it's flat like this, you usually got garbage like this. All kinds of spaghetti because the training wheels and everything is bumping into maybe Mother Nature's having guests and having in for cocktails. That's why they're so messed up. But when they leave Mother Nature's house, look what? Look where they go. Ooh, isn't that beautiful? Okay. Thank you, Mother Nature. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. Oh, man, when he exited there, look what he could have done. 1, 2, 3, 4 red bars. Isn't that beautiful? And then it goes sideways, and it goes on down. 4 more red bars. 1, 2, 3, or 3 more red bars. So this is tradable. Don't misunderstand me. But not for you guys. And I'll tell you why. And as we get into the 6th and 7th session, we have a method that will help you understand places like this on your screen. They're sucker traps is what they are, but they're still tradable. Now look what Mother Nature did here. Now let's look at where this one started. This one started, let's see if there's anything back. See, look at all this conglomeration here. Sucker trap here, getting away from home base and going over the momentum line there. So now, looky here. Look what we have. Now that bar is kind of long. I'm not really crazy about that bar, but let's assume that that's okay. But I really don't like it very well, so I'm going to, let's say I pass this, which goes on up the long bar. And it was a mistake. If I couldn't enter right here, I didn't want to wait for that bar to close, but with an angle like that, I wanted to look at it. So now when it comes up here and makes that pullback, goes close to here, then you've got a pretty clear-cut entry, and you got a clear sailing north here. You got plenty of angle and separation here. You're way outside the training wheels, and look what happens. You take a little small exit here for a little profit, which I'll teach you about. And then, look what you got. You got a perfect ledge coming back, and actually it makes a remo, even though you're not out of the trade. So you got that, and that takes you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars to the top. And those are the ones we like. You got an inside bar there, a red bar, and then you got 3 bars down. So if you just took that trade right there, which began, it began at 8:10 in the morning. That's New York time. See, that's perfect. If you take that trade, not if, but when, to the top is 162 pips twice. There's 101 twice. There's 73 twice, and an exit. Now, if you even leave that part off, I think that was 100. Yeah, let's leave that 163 twice off. There's 300 pips, but just take the easy ones. See, look how easy that was. How many pips did we wind up with there, guys? 672. Dog. Woohoo! Thank you, Mother Nature. Okay, now see, when it's flat like this, all it's going to do is do this and waste a lot of time. Go to another chart. Same thing here. Now, we did have a little stuff here, but see, it didn't over here, and it didn't happen until it got down here, but it's a trade that you can take somewhere. If you didn't take it right there, when this stuff was getting ready to cross, then you would wait until this ledge right there. And it went sideways there, so you would wait until that ledge, till all of that trash gets there. Now, you're not going to make anything on this trade, but you're not going to lose much either. You see, somewhere here you've got an exit, and so if you did take that trade, the chances are you're going to break about even by entering here. If you entered there, there's a 26 pips twice. Less your spread, so you made 30, 40 pips, but you had very little risk because everything was with you. Everything was with you. Okay. Who's making all that rumbling? Okay. Now, see, you've got the same situation here. Although Mother Nature's going flat here, So we have an opportunity. We don't know whether this is going to be some big ball buster trade or just a little bitty thing, but we have to take it because it's presented to us. And so price goes down here, and there's your first opportunity. And so you actually don't really have, it's the goal line, mow line crossed home base, the last part of home base right there. So your entry would be about, let's say about on this line here. Your entry would probably be about right there. And so then you might have a partial exit there, and then you would have a full exit there, but you'd have had one scale in here, about right there. So even though nothing much happened, you still made 24 pips twice and 12 pips twice. So that's 72 pips or less spread right there. So then price goes right up on and back into Mother Nature's house again. And so it stays flat for a while. Now, you got to remember, there are 10 pairs that we recommend that you look at and trade. You pick out, if you trade 4 pairs and you do a good job at it, I would call you a miracle worker. But people can't trade very many more than that unless they have a scanner. What you need is a chauffeur to scan the charts for you to look for situations like this. Now look at this one coming off of here. See, it's all been backed up there. Now it's beginning to come out. That comes out. So we've got a situation here. Why am I always grabbing the wrong line? Okay. Okay, so we got a situation where you would be entered about right there, coming down there. Then we've got probably take a little profit right here. And then when that pulls back up into there, you'd have a scale in. And you'd have another scale in about right there. And you have another scale in about right there. And you can probably have another scale in there. And you would ride it all the way down the bottom. You get this. You got an inside bar. You got a doji light bar. You got a pin bar. You get all kinds of things. Mother Nature's telling you to get the hell out of there. Now this trade, coming off the other side, started at 8:50 in the morning, which would be 20 minutes of 1 late at night. And so, well, I can't get my mouse fixed up here. So if you entered right there, first part would be 160 pips twice. The second trade would be 124 twice. Third part would be 70 twice. The next part would be 555 twice. The next part was 48 twice. That's a little better. How many we got there? $914. Ain't bad for a morning's work. Starting at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you were out of everything by 36, so that's 3 hours. 5 o'clock in the morning, you go back to bed and sleep all day, and then go to the beach all afternoon. Yeah. Now, we have indicators that will tell you a lot of the things that I've been showing you here. What I want you to be able to spot is one of these. This is all you have to learn how to do now because, see, this stuff will present itself in due time. I'm going to add another indicator for you. This is a proprietary one that we can add here, and it'll tell you when to make those scale ins. You're going to love this one. So now we'll see if I guessed right on the scale ends going down. I don't guess I got any part of it, did I? What's missing here? Hold on. Oh well, you big dummy. Sorry. Now, the way you can tell, that's the next lesson. Your first scale in was right here when that bar turned red right there. See that? And you just get a feel for it. See, your first trade began when that bar turned red or somewhere thereafter to tell you. And those little bars are going to tell you basically what to do. Now we got another one right there, see? Whenever that bar's down there turned red, we've got a potential now, not always, it's not always a scale in, but it's a potential scale in. The scale, you may not take the scale in till the next bar or two, till you get a good setup like that. You get your notice there, that's a perfect shot. And then the next one here, there's one. Now, you see, we're going to make it a little easier for you to spot these scale ins. Once you master scale ins, you'll be well on your way. Now, see, here you got a blue bar going up right there in addition to all of that stuff. So this is telling you when to get out. It's helping you. When that goes flat, this goes up. You've got all this stuff here that we'll define for you later. But look at this. Now, how many pips was this? Oh, we already counted those, 914. So with the special MACD that we have here, this tells you the best place for scale ins. You don't always take them. In other words, this scale in would be right there. This scale in you might not have taken until you got over here because you just took one there. So, I mean, that's actually not a scale in. That would be, actually that scale in would be right there after that bar. Then this one here, then you got a scale in there, and you got a scale in there. So all of those pips, that's 1,000 pips for 3 hours work. Goodness. How many of those can you make a day? I'm going to tell you this. Write this down. You guys aren't going to believe me. But out of the 10 major pairs that we see fit to figure into our trading situation, on the 5-minute charts of those 10 pairs, you're going to find 25 to 30 of these every day, if you know what to look for. If you take the 4 main pair, you're going to find 8 to 10 of them every day, and you're going to have some money. You're going to be so busy you won't know how to. You won't even have time to count your pips. Now, see, look what happened here. You go along here, and this thing down here. Now, what happened? You built a ledge right along here. You still got angle and separation there. You've got a perfect entry there. Mother Nature showed it to you and got it right there. Now let's see if we had any scaly ends. There's your first entry. Now that probably right there would have been one because it's after that little bar there. And then you had another one right there which really wouldn't have been one, but then you had the blue bars going up. So the second part of this was worth 140 twice. And that scale in would have been worth 57 twice. So there's a 283, there's 400 pips on the second part, 900 on that. And you haven't even worked up a sweat yet. And you're sitting there calm as you can be because Mother Nature is keeping you informed about what's going on. Anybody think they can't do this? I'm going to be rich. I like your thinking, Vincent. The Mo line, no. The blue line is the balance line sport. The Mo line is the yellow line. And it's actually, there's 3 parts to it. There's momentum and 2 balance lines. And you don't have to worry about the terminology right now. Show me the money. Okay. Now remember, Mother Nature does not like greed because greedy people lose money. Have you found that to be true in what you've learned about Forex so far? Now see, you're coming off of this here and this is flat right there. You might be tempted to take this little trade, and there's nothing wrong with that. You don't know whether it's going to develop 10,000 pips or 1,000 pips or whatever. So you take that little trade and it rides the balance line right down there to the very end, right there. So it paid you 25 or 50 pips for your trouble, 25 twice. But you had a couple of scale ins if if you're brave enough to take some of these things. A lot of people just, even with the answer right in front of them, can't pull a trigger. And that's a sad place to be in. Norman Hallett's got a course on that, how to do that. Look at all those little red lines. See, with those 3 scalings, that little thing right there, which is nothing, was worth probably over 100 pips in a matter of 2 hours, less than 2 hours. And it didn't look like much coming out of there, but at that angle, that was a strong angle until it started back up into Mother Nature's garden here. See? So that was just a gift from heaven. I mean, that just was going so powerful that it went right on through Mother Nature's garden. Now, let's go on back here. More back. Look at that. Oh, my goodness, look at that. There's another one just a few hours before that. Now, look at that. Let's just draw this. Let's say you look about right there. If you don't like that entry, there's another entry coming right there. This is the safe entry. That's the perfect mow entry, but here's a good entry too. But you notice they don't pay you about any more pips for taking the safe entry as it does the gambling entry. So you take the safe entry, and then you take another entry here. I'm going to draw these, then I'm going to put the lines in there and see if if I'm even close. Now see, look at that. Okay, now let's go back and draw my little line. This is up. We're looking up. See, look at that. That entry was right on that line. And when you do this enough, you will be able to spot them even without it. And look at that. Both of those and that one right there. Let's see if that's a good entry. Well, actually, it's after a little pullback right there. I bet you that's it. Nope, it's back here. That dotted line not want to do what I tell it to do right there. So that was on that pullback thing. And then that line there, when this one starts going back, there's your red line, matches up with everything. If you didn't get out right there, you sure could have gotten out down here when that bar closed. Oh, shoot, right there. Or somewhere along across here. So this little trade, but see, even if you exited totally there, what happens? You got a remo right behind it, right there. Look at that. The reason I know that is because that little bar turned blue down there. Look at that. But you have to be able to spot these little suckers. There's a blue bar, and then there's an exit bar. So look at that. I mean, I don't even want to count the pips. And see, but look where it goes. It goes off here. If you exit all there, you come right back down here, and you've got another one right there. Comes right back after that crosses back up in there. And then you've got another pullback. And you've got another pullback here. And you've got an exit there. Or you've got a pullback there, whichever way you want to count it. Depends on the other factors, the other things that tell us whether this is a ledge or an exit or whatever it is. Well, you'd be lucky to get out right there, that's for sure. But we already know the answer, so let's say we're real smart and we got out right there at the top. So when you get stuff like this, that's time to start thinking get out. And I really mean that. And and actually it was a good warning. See, there's a lot of indecision in those 4 little doji-like bars. They all have their pointers headed down. That tells you that they're probably going to go down. So these little ledges and your vertical lines here, let's see, there's a blue line right there. And there's a blue line right there. And you see why I'm drawing these blue lines? You get in the habit of doing that so you know why you did something. That wasn't a real good entry, see, because of the situation here, but you made about the same number of pips. No, you entered here, I'm sorry. This was an entry. And then a scale in, then a scale in, then an exit, or scale in and exit. So These things are not difficult to spot, but you got to know what you're looking for. And the reason you're going to examine and scroll through 100 or so charts during this training is so when I ask you about a situation like this, you're going to be able to tell me. You're going to email me charts that tell us about this stuff. Boy, something binged in my ear. Now look at this. See, that thing is doing its level best to get out of Mother Nature's garden. But for some reason, it didn't get it. It didn't go that way. But those are head fakes. Anybody that anticipated that this was going to do that, what they do, they lost money. Never argue with Mother Nature. What am I doing? I think my computer just locked up. Maybe I'm all the way back. No, I'm not all the way back yet. The computer's hung up for a minute. Here. Okay, there we go. Whoops. Okay. Well, come on. I got a trade down there. Y'all can see the bottom of my screen here. I got a trade going on with $324 of profit in it. Boy, it just dropped down to $280 really quick. That's back up to $720. What's going on here? $10. Oh. Boy, there must be something going on at the end of this chart. There we go. Let's see. Oh, this is the 5 minute. Trade is based on the 4 hour. What happened? Did again. Boy, it must have hit some. All of this must be all together on the 4 hour chart. Here. Let's take a look and put it on the 4 hours and see what happens. See what that looks like. Yeah, because I'm in a buy on the euro dollar right here. Not looking too good. It's not on this chart though. This is the pound dollar, that's why. Okay. Well, I thought that was funny. Okay, let's go back to 5 minutes. Okay. All right, now if you guys have got a pretty good idea about how you can do this, see, even this is going this way. Look, bouncy bounce, bouncy bounce. Mother Nature, look at this, coming right off of home base. This is bouncing off of your balance line there. But the original thing where this started way back here, see how far back this goes before your original momentum entry was right there? Let's see how far this thing goes. This starts about right there at January 26th at 11:15. Now let's take it all the way to the top and see how much we get out of that. This is at January the 27th at midnight. So that trade ran an entire day. You wouldn't have gotten any rest that day because you had all of these scale ins and all of these trades. And I'm telling you, that's probably a $2,000 to $4,000 pip trade right there. $2,000 to $4,000 minimum. We could count them up. Anybody want to count them? Nah. Let's don't take the time to do it. But you see what's there. Look at it. Look how far that thing goes. Way up to there. Actually, that's on the 27th at 11 o'clock, yeah. There you are. Now, let's go on back a little further. Let's just do a little scrolling so you can see, now that you've got some, these are what we call checkpoints. And now that you've got some road signs there, it's beginning to tell you which way the price might be headed when it comes to one of these crossroads. Now see, this is going down, and that started about right there. But look at your first pullback, see? Even your first pullback, and you didn't make much money on that trade because you're not going to trade it right there, even though it looked absolutely fantastic. You're not going to trade that because you're still in spaghetti mode around here. I could have traded it, and Eusebio, some of us could have traded it. Your entry would have been about right there. But see, those things are still up here pretty high. But you do have angle and separation, so that would have been a good one. Look at how many bars you got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then here you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you had about 17 red bars to 2 in that little run there. So these are things that you're going to learn during the course. Now, is there anybody on here that doesn't think they can spot a perfect mow? It's not, the hard thing is not pulling the trigger. The hard thing is just learning this. You see this? This is a perfect mow, although it's really a remow, because the perfect mow was right up here, right there. See, there's your perfect mow. And when you can spot that coming across that ledge, coming across that with that angle and separation there, bouncy, bouncy. And then you got a little check MX there, it's what we call it. And then you've got another ledge here. Okay. And then you've got all these scale ends here. And let's just draw some vertical lines so you'll see what I'm talking about. Right there. Scale in. Scale in. Scale in. Now, I want somebody to pop up and say, well, that's easy because he's got them pointed out on the chart. Well, that's why they're there. So we don't have to use all that discretion. See, this is not a subjective matter. These are static. You don't have to take them, but they're still going to show up on a static basis. See? Those are going to show up no matter what you decide to do with them. Now, the dynamic part of it is pulling the trigger. So, you know, that's just a perfect little mow trade right there. Then you got your exit there. Look at that pin bar pointing down like that. This one going up, and then you got a doji-like bar. Now, Mother Nature's telling you, get the hell out of there. This is going to do something that you may not like. It's giving you more chances. But it's telling you there, protect your profits, get out of here. You've got a re-entry, you got a remow right there, and you got another remow right there, or scale ins, whatever you want to call them. They're just all over the place. And you know why Eusebio is doing so good at trading? Because he went through and he scrolled through every chart, every time frame. And you're going to get a lot of learning if you do your scrolls. You see, look at this. It made perfect coming right off of there. Your entry, your best entry was right there, although you could have entered there. Not much difference in the price. And then you've got all these little scale ins. Let's just draw some vertical lines here. Oops, I've got to get on the red things. We're having a pretty heavy rainstorm outside here now. I just hope the tornadoes stay away from me. I don't like those things. I've never been in one, and I've never even been up close or seen one up close. The only ones I've ever seen are in movies, and that's as close as I want to get. See, look at those. And you've got this right there coming after. You got your doji-like bars. You got this, and you got this is almost an outside bar, but not quite. But that's telling you that it's getting ready to do this, getting ready to exit there. Okay, any questions now? Let's stop and take a few minutes. I know I've been going kind of fast, but let's take a few minutes. Let's talk about terminology. What does, let's say, I'm going to type some things up here. Find a script here. Okay. This long bar right there would be for a what does MOE stand for? Weatherby, what does MOE stand for? Momentum entry. That's entry. Mo is momentum, MOE is momentum entry. Now, when I draw a line right there, and I type SC, what would that tend to tell you it means? And what would that tend to tell you that means? I'm working on that right now, David, if you just pay attention. What would SC1 stand for? David, were you in at the first of the training? Scale in 1. Good boy, Fernando. Well, David, I told everybody that they're going to get a template with everything on there, and all you'll have to do is add it to your chart. You don't remember that? Okay, scale in 1. Now, let's go right here and look at this one right there. And we're going to name that little sucker right there. What would SC2 stand for? Scale in 2. Good boy, Vincent. Now let's skip those next couple and let's draw a line down here. And I'm going to put some text right there. Now what would XXX mean? Exit everything. Now, on this little ledge right here, though, let's say that we draw a horizontal line right there. And I'm going to put the term here called MX1. Now what would MX1 mean on that flat part right there? It has many meanings. No, it means momentum exit number 1. A momentum exit protects your profit. Even if things go to hell and price turns right around here, and believe me, this is not all cake and frosting. Price will sometimes get you right here. You've got this great mo going, and whoops, it gets down to this, here, let me show you this support line here that you haven't seen. That's got to be a support line. So even though you're down here and things are going great, you've got this mo, you got this scale in 1, and you're down here about this part and things start going sideways because that's a support line, and you MX1 and you do that to take profit. Protect some profit. You can never go broke taking a profit. If you do a mo entry and you take some profit right there, you take 48 pips profit out of your first part of the mo. And therefore you only have for 1/2 of your mo left for the exit. But now, let's suppose everything goes north on you right here, as it very well can, and it will do from time to time. Not often. So that's why we have our stop set at a recent distance, because you're going to get a bar. Sometime you'll get a bar that's got a tail on it, like, let me push it. It's got a tail on it that goes all the way up here, almost to that blue line. See, that's going to wipe out any stops that are not above that line. That's why your stop placement is better off as these things move south on you here. Your stops are better above that blue balance line. That's sort of what that blue balance, one of the functions it places, other than the fact to have angle and separation. So you're better off to moving your stop along that line. Seldom will you get stopped out if you do that. Any questions about that part? Oops, I just wiped everything out. Okay, so now you've got the definitions. They were on the screen. So when you get now these videos, Chris will probably have this video out tomorrow sometime, because this is the first one. It's 2 hours long. See, look at this. These are all traps. When price goes under that mo line and comes down here, and you didn't have that home base there to know what all this conglomeration of stuff is here, that's a trap to get your money. Now, go along here. You can look here. This pops right up. It's above these. This is turning back into a mo with your crown there. So you've got a mo entry right there above that line. So you got an MX or an XXX right there, and then you've got another mo coming off of that ledge right there. You got another mo coming off of that right there. and then you got another exit somewhere around up in here. So see, these things, once you know what you're looking for, and you see what we're doing, this is at an angle. That tells you I'm only going to trade up. I don't care how tempted I am to jump into one of those little deals. And a long bar like that, you never trade behind it unless you want to jump in and go up right there. But that's not good either. Okay. So this little trade right there, just to show you how simple it is. If you got out right there, you made 31 pips twice. And if you did what they call a remo right there, that would, why not do that? Your remo would be worth 46 pips twice, and the second part of it would be worth 39 pips twice, which is 100 pips in just a brief period of time. Okay. Now, see, this one gave you a mo, but it's a terrible situation here because this is going straight up and this is going that way. So there's really, if you're going to do a mo trade out of this, there's not much potential in it, and you're not going to get over here. You don't know how to do this part of it yet, even though that's going up. There would be about your best entry, because if you waited for that elongated bar to happen, then there's just no really advantage to that trade, although you could trade it. And you might want to. This has probably got 40 or 50 pips in there. But see, we're setting you up so that you don't have to take those marginal trades. When price has done this, I'm looking for it to come back down. I'm not looking for it to go like this, and it doesn't go very far. So, and that's the nature of the beast. Look at that. That's a 95, that's a 85 degree angle right there. Okay, now let's see what's going on over here. Let's get rid of that line. Okay. Now see, look at this one coming off of here. Now, since price bounced off of home base, that's telling you the only way to trade this thing is down. That's going down. This is headed down. So where is your mo entry? Is right there. On that first ledge coming off of here. Even though it's above those lines, your safest entry is right there. I'm always telling you to do the safe entries. I would enter here, but that's something you have to decide for yourself, because waiting for price to cross that is sometimes the more discretionary thing to do. But there's your safe entry, and there's your mo entry coming off of home base like that. Now, that's one of those rare occurrences. Now, let's see how many scale ends we got here. 1. I'd say that's pretty good. Let's go right there, 2. So you really had 2 before you had your exit down here. Okay. Okay, is there anybody on here that doesn't think they understand what a perfect mo is? We're not looking for minor marginal trades. We're looking for the perfect mo entry. That's all. And we're looking for the scale ends. And I want you to pick this now. Say, for instance, this was a. Let's take the safe mo, as you should as beginners. So right there, you're going to mark on your chart MOE. So I'll know you know that that's a mo entry, right? Okay, now we got a scale in there. So we're going to do a little slanted line there. The first place you can enter that is about right there. And that's going to be an SC1. You got a scale in down here. Actually, when I come off of a ledge like that with 2 dojis, that's a ledge, so my scale in is going to be a little higher than what this line would give me. So let's, whoops. Yeah, right there. So that's going to be scale in number 2. Okay, and then down here, we got XX. And there's nothing complicated about that at all. But you've got to learn to spot them, and they all don't come in the same shape and sizes. You know, it's like people. There's 6'5" people, 7'2" people, and 5'10" people, and they all come in different sizes, but they all have the same pattern. See, if I could draw a circle around a chart, and let me see if I can draw this thing. I don't have much luck with things like this. Yeah, see, I didn't have much luck with it. There's a trick to doing those damn things. Anyway, if I could draw a circle around this, it'd be easy to spot them. But you've got to learn to spot them on the fly. See? Now let's go back to the beginning of this part right here. That's right at, look at that bar happen right at 2 o'clock or midnight. Look at that. And see? Now, since you're going down, this is a trade right there. There's your Mo entry right there. Scale. It's not a real good one. It's about a B, but it's still a good Mo. And that because you've got your angle and separation. You know you've got your ledge starting there. When that bar turns red, jump on it. Okay. Now let's back on up here. And see, if you remember the training wheels, that'll keep you out of trouble, and you remember Mother Nature's garden. And see, you've got this coming down right there, and you've got an entry place right there. Ooh, listen to that. Can you all hear that thunder coming through the microphone? And look at that. That could be a tornado. Woo. Okay. Excuse me. Now, there's your ledge. There's your perfect Mo. There's a good Mo. But that's perfect because everything's got angle and stuff. And look here, boy, that's way below home base. Now remember, when price gets this far from home base, believe me, it's looking for a way to get back to home base. This is far from home here. Now we have ways to tell you when is a good time to take that trade back to Mother Nature's garden. Okay, but see, you've got all this stuff sideways here. Perfect exit places. Tells you. You got your little scale ends down here. All your little peas in the pod. And sometimes you get a bonus one. But see, there you are. There's that one. And all of these things are telegraphed, you know. So, if you know what you're looking for, we've got them marked. We've got a little bicycle path both places here to tell you what to look for. And this stuff just comes with MetaTrader 4. I didn't do anything special with it except figure out how to use it by scrolling through charts. Look at this. Look what Mother Nature gave us right here. This is absolutely perfect. Coming off of that ledge right there, the minute that bar turns red, you jump on it. And then it's got this pin bar down at the bottom that tells you it's probably going to go back up here. Mother Nature says, whoops, look at that. So, and then you've got all of this. There's an exit of whatever trade that you've got there. There's another perfect exit, see? Price is headed toward the momentum line. And that trade begins somewhere way back up here, but even if you weren't in it and you just walked in here and say, oh my God, look at that. There you are. See, you're down there. That begins right there. Your entry would be right there. Angle and separation. The 10-pip rule is not as important when you're this far away down this way, but it's still there. And in the beginning, you'll follow that rule. And then if you look at your, see, look where your red line begins. Look at your next one. There you go, and then you go sideways. And then you've got this ledge right here. That's a beautiful thing, just a beautiful piece of work. You don't know how far it's going to go. When price drops below that ledge, it's also coming off of a perfect Mo right there. Absolutely perfect Mo. And then here's your exit. So, and all of these things are telegraphed if you know how to read the signal. I used to do Morse code when I was in the service, and you liken these things to Morse code signals. It's just about what they are. The telegraph. Okay. Now coming off here, I know you guys are getting bored with this. Is anybody bored? Look at this. Is that not beautiful? And look where it came from, though. It came from right up here, where your mow entry was about right here, somewhere along those 3 bars right there. See, about right there. Come down here, and a partial exit, an MX1 right there. Then your, whoops. Damn. You got an MX1 there, then you've got this ledge right here, and then you've got, just do some little scalies. And if you draw the scale-ins, then you're never in doubt as to why you took the trade. And that's what you've got to learn to do. And they're not hard to do. Just balance them off and then go take it all the way back up to every red bar like that. And that tells you that these are the signals that you're looking at. And then if you at least if you didn't get out there, you're going to get out there, right there, XXX. So, and there's no perfect, there's a way, we have a method to determine what these things are here, but I'm not giving it to you now. I want you just to spot the mow entries, scale ins, and exits. That's all this exercise is going to be for next week. The good stuff really begins next week. And see, here's a mow going up. Right there, look at that, bouncing right up, come right off of home base, comes right into here. And your mow entry, where would that be? Right there. See, everything's going the right direction now. And it didn't last very long, but it's still a nice little trade if you didn't have any scale ins. You made 52 pips twice, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blue bars, which is way too many. Here you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to find 5 to 7 bars. You're going to find more bars of the same color on the 5-minute charts. Normally on the half hour and up, you're going to find 3 to 5 will be a normal length of these things. Look at this. See, if you'd have gotten in here, but you didn't. See, you missed that. But there's midnight. See, this was opening on Sunday evening, and it just opened with this big bounce. So, but look where it came from before it got there. See, this is going up, so you don't have any trade until you get right there. Your perfect mow entry is right there. Perfect. Then you got your flat line down here to tell you something's wrong. Get out. After 4 or 5 bars like this, I'm looking for a place to hide. Go away. Get out. We don't want you staying in the trades too long. Now see, look where this mow begins. Way, 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 way back here. Way back here. Look at that. Now, your entry is going to be somewhere about right there. But see, you got plenty of angle and separation from right here on, so whatever you can see along in there, this is all giving you the privilege of jumping in there somewhere along this stuff. Then you've got an XXX place right there. And then you've got another mow entry right there, which is altogether not a good one. But then you've got another one down here, or right down there somewhere in this area. And you've got an MX or an XXX inside bar right there. It's an XXX probably. And then you re-enter. And I tell the story, and how I thought about re-entering. You've got to get back on the horse. When I was a kid, I was about 8 years old, and I was a fairly good rider, and I was learning to rope, and I had a roping horse named Trouble. Well, my dad did. But I used to rope with him, in Trouble would just all of a sudden buck your ass off. I mean, for no reason at all. You could be sitting there talking to people, and he would just all of a sudden rear up and buck you off. And I had pretty well learned to control it, and I was a fairly good rider. But I want to tell you, that sucker, my dad and I and Bill Foreman and all of us were standing there, about 4 horses all together there talking, and all of a sudden he just reared up his head and just bucked my ass clear over my dad's horse. And whoa, I didn't like that. I laid down there and I cried when I got up, And I said, I said, I'm through for the day. And Dad, Tommy, he made me get back up on that horse. He said, you got to get back up on that horse or it's going to be more tough next time. So I got back up on the horse, and 3 or 4 minutes later I was fine. But if I hadn't have done that, I might have been skittish about riding for a long time. So here's what you do. If you get stopped out or you find you've made a bad situation, get out. Now, I want to tell you another little trick about stops. If, by some chance, you got in right there, you're going to set your stop probably at least below Mother Nature's garden right here, and it's going to be a pretty big stop. If you entered right there, stop right there, that's about, well, it's about 40 pips. So 2 times 40 is 80. But if you see this thing gets up here and turns around on you, the nice thing about the way we look at things, I don't have any qualms at all about it. When price gets back to that home base line, I'm out of there. So I'm going to take my 2 times 19 pips or 38 pip loss. And that if I add that other 20 pips twice to it, that's 40. So that's 80 pips. So the thing about it is you don't have to wait if you're near home base here and your stop's down here and you can see it's turned on you. And it will. It just will. Even if you make a great entry, it can turn on you. And of course, the way we've got things planned and figured is that it's not likely to turn on you where our entries are. And even here, if you stayed in, you're going to be awful skittish about all of this stuff going on here. That's why I don't mind getting out when I see some stuff that gives me a reason to get out with several bars sideways like that. I don't mind getting out and then re-enter. Get out here if you don't like the looks of things, the way things this going sideways. Get back in there and get out there. So you're always free to go back. Now, when you do have so many entries and re-entries, you lose the power of compound interest or compound pips the way it goes there. But see, you don't trade in stuff like this. Only an idiot would trade in stuff like this. But they don't know it exists. If you don't have these channels and tunnels on your chart, you don't have a clue that that's even where it is. Look at this. A lot of people would die for a situation like that. It's 10 pips. Boy, I could make me 10 pips. But look at the risk he's taking if it turns on him. Okay, let's see. Do this work on rage days, RAGED days like we were having last days. Well, I beg to differ with those people that say this is volatile, but you see, that's the Forex market in general. These people blame the market for something they can't trade. I mean, let's go back here at the beginning of this thing. Now I want to show you, do you think that these people, if they were smart enough to see this, would call that a ranging day? That is a perfect trend. And I can put several other pairs on the chart. Let's drag over the euro dollar. Well, let's take the Australian dollar. They don't like it because it's not doing what they understand. And once we understand that Mother Nature is giving us all these great opportunities all the time, now, this is the Australian dollar. And look at that. Look what happened here this morning. That's a month or 6 weeks pip. Any way you want to count this. And I rarely even trade the Australian dollar. But look, and just before that, it had another nice one there. And before that, my God, look at that one. Look at that. Right there, just coming on off of there and taking you home. Now, let's take the Euro Jap Yen. By switching these things like this, you can do so much with this software platform. And you can also get too much garbage on your chart. So that's my job, is to keep you from making that mistake. Because too much information is worse than not enough information, because you have to have the bar charts and the basic max equipment on there. Yeah, there we go. Now this is the Euro Jap Yen. Now let's squeeze this down here so you can see it. Look at that. Look at that. Let me squeeze that up so you can really get a good feel for the overall thing of what it's doing. Do you think that didn't come off of there strong? Look at that, and bounce right up back to the mow line, back to the mow line, and then straight south. Look at that, same damn thing right there. This happens every day. Look at this, straight up. This isn't anything. This is nothing. Look at that. This one started way back here. The whole length of that thing, if you exited right there, let's just draw an exit line right there. And so you can see that you entered somewhere around here. That's 127 pips. And you've got all of these scale ends and entries and remows and all this stuff in that line. So on 127 pips, you could make 1,000. See? That's what people aren't considering. And the way we count our pips, they don't have a clue what we're doing. And you don't want to tell them. I don't care whether they knock us or bad rap us or whatever on the line. You just put your little tongue in your cheek and go, and go on down your business. Don't try to explain it to them, because, see, they bought some sucker guru's materials that says, man, you can make 10 pips a day in this business. And I have a good friend, one of my closest friends in our Forex club here. He would kill for 10 pips a day. See, he bought that idea for 10 pips a day. Look at this angle that thing shot up out of there, right out of Mother Nature's garden. See, if you squeeze it up like this, you can really see the movements. Yet you can't trade with it that way. But look at that. Is that not just absolutely beautiful? See? Now let's put the old guppy on there. I mean, yeah, where is it? Where is it? Come on. This is probably from the most volatile of all the stuff we do, and I just love it because it just makes me money, just like it's going out of style. The pound yen. It's dangerous, and sometimes it's got high spread on it, depending on your broker. Hey, Linda, by the way, thank you for putting more of a bio up there. And any lady that's got 3 kids has got a bio. So your life is worth more than one line to me and to everybody else. So be proud of that fact and tell everybody about it. And Eusebia loves the guppy. Look at this. Look at that, coming right off of home base. Bing, bing, right straight back down until it flattens out here. And then what does it do? It goes the other way for another 1,000 pips, goes sideways for a while, and it goes up for another 500 to 800 pips, and then it does this for 400, 300 pips. And that's without taking much risk. When you get your signals, all your signals together here at all this angle and separation here, I mean, good God, this is another trick. When you're in a trade and it goes down here and goes all the way down like that, if you're watching it, watch that bar until it turns back up and then get out right there. Get out right there. It can only go north, as it proved there. But when you see a long numbered bar like that does that and starts backwards, jump it. Get out. Okay, but look at this. Is that not the most beautiful picture you've ever seen? Look at that. But unless you can know what to get in them or how to enter in them, you just sit there and you stay frustrated. Look at that. Bounce right off the red line. Follows along the mow line. And see, these things have a destiny. It's like anything else. These things are predetermined. We don't have anything to do with it. See, it bounces right off of the home base, bounces back up there again, goes sideways till it gets back into the mow. All of these things are programmed. I just wish I knew the formula. There is a program out there called the Rosetta Stone, Timing Secrets. The guy's a real turd that runs it. It's $2,000. Actually, it's $5,000 for the software and so forth. And I tried to buy it. He had it on sale for $2,000, and I sent him the money, and he turned right around and sent my money back. So the Rosetta Stone. Anyway, he would have been a pain to do business with to get your questions answered. But see, even a little bitty short trade like that is most people's. That's a week or two's pips for most people. And there's nothing to brag about this. The fact is, if you see it, squeeze your chart up so you can see what's going on. And if you really want to learn to trade and make money, it's to trade on the 4-hour chart. Boy, you get one of these things right there and bounces right off a home base. You got your perfect max almost immediately, right there to there. That's, I don't know how many pips it is. I could tell if I do the thing right, wouldn't it? Right there, that's 564 pips with very little danger, risk, and it comes right over here and does it again. Goes right under that. Whoops, I'm getting the wrong thing. Goes right under the old mow line again and take it down there. That's 1,178 pips. And you only have to do this, check it once or twice a day when you're doing stuff like this. So, look at, this is a 4-hour chart. Now, I hate to even tell you how many pips this made, but let's just take the second half of this part. Right here, just from right there to that part was 2,684 pips. And then if you got up here and you re-entered on that little sucker, that's 2,965 pips. And look at that 1, 2, 3 pattern getting you out of there. You see that this stuff is there every day. You just have to know what to look for. This stuff is like the prettiest girl at the dance. She's lonesome. She's looking for somebody to come in and be nice to her. Mother Nature, sweetheart, real sweetheart. Okay. Now, if I haven't bored you to death, here's the homework. I don't want you to post but one homework with 2 pictures on it. I want you to do a short, perfect mow. I don't care what time frame it's on or what pair it's on, but you go get one of your own and do it yourself. Do your markings. Mark your mow entry. Mark your scale ends with your vertical lines, and then mark your bottom, mark your MX if you're going to have one, and just mark it up, and just do it the way I've shown you here tonight. So that's one chart. Now, what you want to do is, if this is your homework like that, you go up here to File, click on File, slide down to Save as Picture. Save as Picture. Click on that and say Active Chart as is. You click on that, OK, and then you name the chart. In other words, I would go down here and name this one 0210. Whoops, I would go 0210. And this is the GBP JPY 4 hour. And hit save. Okay, then that pops back over. And I don't know what that. Oh, that's my copy of it since I saved it. There it is. So now let's close that. Close tabs. Okay, so this is my chart in the thing. Now I'm going to send an email, and then you go over to your email, and you save it where you know where it is, and you just click on the chart, say Insert, and let me find my email. I think I've already closed it. Have I closed it? Let me minimize this chart. Okay, email. Where are you? I don't have it here. Oops. Minimize that. Okay. Now in my email, I'm going to put this over here for you so y'all can see it. What have I got here? Oh, try again. Okay. So this is my email, and I go up here, Create Mail, and I put the address in here. I go up to Insert, File Attachment, and it goes over here to where I've got it saved, which will be in the public file. If I can find the public file. There it is, public file. And go to Forex Files, and go down here to 0210 GBPJPY 4 hour. Click on it, and there's the chart we saved a few minutes ago. And then you send that to the group, and then we'll grade it. Someone of us will grade it. And listen, we're going to tell it like it is. There's no sugarcoating here, because we want you to get the message here. The message is simple. It's not complicated, but it ain't easy, because there's some work you have to do to get there. And anybody that thinks the Forex is an easy deal to do is in the wrong class, because there's nothing complicated about it. But by the time I get my 300 emails a day answered, it gets pretty kind of tiring. So what do I do with my Chatsy? I've deleted Chatsy. Okay. Anyway, it's about time to get through. Let me load Chatsy back up. Damn, can't believe I did that. And so we can. Where is it? I gotta load Chatsy back up so I can see your questions. There we go. There we go. Can you hear that thunder and lightning in the background here? It's scary. Okay, there we go. Chatsy, here we go. I think I've put you all to sleep. Is anybody there? Anybody home? Okay, there's old Chatsy. Let's see. With larger stop indeed. What does that mean? No sleep for a week or so, probably. Yeah. The thing about the homework is I could do this without homework, because, see, I know what I'm doing, but I've got to know that you guys know what you're doing. And the only way for you to tell me what you're doing is let me grade a few charts, and let some of these other yokels get a hold of them, and they'll grade them for you. And they're tougher than I am. Eusebio's tougher than I am. And Wayne Voss is pretty tough in grading. So the thing about it is, that's what you're paying us for. And we're going to make sure you get it, where you're not going to walk away from this training. And I'll tell you this tonight. If you did nothing and didn't complete the training, you already know more about making money in the Forex than 85% of the people out there. There's nothing complicated about it at all. You use two lines that intersect, and you make sure that Mother Nature's on your side, and you treat her good, and you don't do dumb things. By the way, I always make the statement, there's no such thing as a dumb question, unless that question has been asked and answered several times. That's a dumb question. And there's no such thing as a dumb trader. It's just, that's a trader that just hadn't had an opportunity to see where things are. His light bulb hasn't gone on yet. And so I'm going to send you a chart. Let me go back to the program here and load the chart. Okay, I'm going to send you a template of this chart with just these three, just the Mo lines and Mother Nature and the chart. It's a template, and it'll have, there's another indicator I want to put on here and want to spend 2 or 3 minutes on. This is called the stochastic RSI. Now, this is going to help you, tell you when you're down at the bottom at a place like this. It's going to be part of your getting out. Let me spread that out a bit. We're not going to spend any time on it tonight, because I think most people can figure it out, but if you can't, we're going to spend a lot of time over the time of the trading. So you see that up there? This is up here, and when that crosses here, and you draw, when this crosses that line there, that's telling you, that's a forewarning of about 4 or 5 bars that this is probably going to go down from right there. This is the EWAC's early warning system. Let's go find another place for an exit. Yeah, this would be a perfect exit. So let's see what's going on down here. See, this thing is down here. What did I do? Well, I didn't mean to do that. I meant when this thing is telling you it's going to go up, right there, when it crosses that, Tim, when this crosses that line right there, that's telling you it's probably going to go up. Look, it did all of this, and then it started going that way. And I want to make a statement here. Kathy Lean, I originally got the idea of the momentum line from Kathy Lean. And she has a trading partner, Boris somebody. But she uses a 20-period moving average like all the rest of the old stock market people. And she doesn't use any Fibonacci numbers as such. And she's got the 10 pip on either side of it for the training wheels for it. So, but there are ways to tell, and this is an early warning system, that thing's going to go down. See, that makes a little bitty W there. We're going to go into M's and W's. You see that M? That's telling you that this is going to go down. This W here is telling you that's going to go up. W's are up, M's are down. See, that's an M, sideways and down. So this is my early warning indicator. It's a mixture of the stochastics and the RSI. And you see that little trough down there? When that crosses up there, there's your W. It's an M from there, but it's a W there. And that's telling you, and let's just draw the old vertical line right there so you can see, that's telling you right there that that's going up pretty soon. So it's giving you an early warning. That's a place to get the hell out of there. Now, this is a 4-hour chart, so that is a good early warning.
Jim?
See, this is, yeah.
While you're talking about
Scared
that,
me.
I think...
You scared me.
Sorry.
That's all right.
While you're talking about that, I think some of the folks it would be helpful to go over the 363 again.
Okay. The 363 again. Okay. I will. Okay. Well, I thought I did that, but we'll do that again. Okay. The 363, this is the MACD with our peculiar settings on it to tell you when is the good place to enter a scale in. That's all this is for. And we have another indicator that will make this one kind of obsolete when we get it, put it up on the chart. But right now, you've got to learn what a scale in looks like. And you see that little red mark right there? Red mark, red mark. That's telling you, boy, that's a good place to enter that trade, right? Okay, then, as the trade is progressing, you don't get another red mark until you get about right. Oops. Let me delete that little sucker. And I'll move this one over to the right little slot. You get another one right there, but that's almost at the bottom, when you should be looking for a place to get out based on what I just showed you a minute ago. Now, let's just move that over. Whoops. Because that becomes a part of this line here. That's telling you it's going to go up. So when you're doing a Mo, now here you go. Let's just look at this area in here. You want to know where your scale ends are. When that line turns red, that's telling you this is a possible scale in place. There are no absolutes. I always say possible. You have to pull the trigger. But you see where this stuff is taking you? All of these little things are telling you that you can scale in and buy trades, buy trades going downhill there, going south. And there. Now you're going to get some more of this when you get the video. But see, this thing, start way back up here at the top. This is your first red liner. Look how close that compares with what's going on in the price and the candlesticks. Then your next one is way over here. Look at that, just right after the Mo. Then you got another one beginning right there. And they intersect with the red line, so there's telling you where your Mo should be. Now, if you've got a little ledge situation like that, I wouldn't wait for that bar to close. I'd jump in as soon as it goes below that line. And the same thing here, I wouldn't wait, for that bar to close. I'd jump in as soon as it went below that ledge. And that's part of the training. You've got to know when to wait for this, because that bar is going to be partially red before that bar ever closes. But when you see a ledge like that, the ledge is the better indicator. The little ledge right there is the better indicator. It's stronger than the 363, and they're both very powerful. You got another little ledge right there, as a matter of fact, see? Actually, you did have a red bar right there. So you're just going to have to position yourself when you're doing your homework. This is I put this on the chart. That's to force you to draw those vertical lines so you'll know where the scale ends are. Now you see then when you get a ledge like this, and it bounces right off of the momentum line, that is a remow. This is an exit right there probably. And there's probably a whole bunch of high blue bars right there. So this is telling you then there's going to be, you see the red lines where we've drawn those. Let's draw another one right there. Okay, see? Got them all the way down there. Son of a gun. And this is a 4-hour chart. Is that not beautiful? Telling you each one of those things is worth whole bunches of money, bunches of pippies. And see, this one's pretty close to the last one, so you probably don't want to do it. And you can set the numbers on your bar, so you won't get quite so many as that if you want to tighten up the numbers a bit. But you see, look at all of those scale ends before that trade. If you exited right here, I hate to even tell you how many pips that's going to be. Oh my God! But if you waited for that, see, you've got another mow. If you exit right there, you've got another mow with lots of pips hanging around there. But if you exited right here, that's an outside bar going up. This is going up. That's going up. Those are like tumblers in a lock. You're going to hear me mention that a lot. You see that blue line and the purple line and this, they're all like tumblers in a lock. When you turn that lock, they go click, click, click. Now look at all the scale ends you've got here. But your first part of that mow trade, just the very first part, and assume you exited right there, because you get a little fraidy cat. That's 1,096 pips, the first part of that. Now listen, when I say fraidy cat, I say that with all love and respect because I am the world's biggest fraidy cat sometime. I just look at the chart and I don't like the way it looks and I'll get out. But I'll turn right around and get in here. If I got out here, well, you ride in this thing, let this thing go all the way to the bottom. That's actually twice as many pips, probably over. If you take it all the way to the bottom, it's 1,903 pips. See, instead of 1,096. And you got all these scale ends here. I mean, that's probably 5,000 or 6,000 pips, and those trades occurred over I've got to get my mouse a little better on my mouse pad. If you did this, that's 1,921 pips to the bottom of that channel. And I'll venture to say that there's probably over 10,000 pips in that trade right there, which took place over 96 4-hour bars, which is about 3.5 days. That's a week's trading right there. Would you say that's right? You save you about 10,000 pips? And you can catch those all the time. But if you don't know what you're looking for and you don't know recognize how good that entry is or where that entry is going to come from, look at this one up here. See, you had an entry here that was on that elongated bar. I'd be kind of sketchy about that, but after this goes sideways a little bit, after that ledge, when that ledge starts going down, you got a perfect entry right there. And that little thing right there, which is nothing, is 229 pips on the 4-hour chart. Now, you need bigger stops, probably 150 pips. I'd say on this one right there, on that first entry, let's see, if you entered right there on that ledge, you want to take it back up at least to above the yellow line. That's 214 pips. Times 2 is 400 pips you lose. But, my God, I'd risk 400 pips for 10,000 pips any day. And that's what these great trending charts like the Forex, that's what they do all day. They don't have anything to do but go in a straight line. They follow the leader. If you take this all the way to the back here, this is this morning's trade right there. See, it all started about right there. I made over 700 pips this morning, and I really didn't do the trade justice. But look at this one. See, this is not a good. Well, it is on the 4-hour chart, but that's another matter. But this is a beautiful trade. On the 5-minute chart, that was just absolutely gorgeous. Those 3 bars right there. Okay, any more questions about the vertical lines, the scale ends? The only problem is getting my broker to pay me. Well, now that is a personal problem. Well, that's true with any brokers these days. You got to be really, really careful, and I don't have a solution for that, guys. I wish I did. I don't particularly like the one I do all my stuff with, but they do pay off. And so I don't always like the spreads, etc. Okay, now when you get your template, you'll get a template. Let me open this back up again. It's going to be on the 5-minute chart. It'll say basic max, and it's going to be on the 5-minute chart. And it's going to have all of this stuff on there, right there. And then all you got to do is go through and just pick them out, and you got the answers in front of you. You know that that's an exit because you can see it. You may not totally understand why, but if you look at enough situations like this around here, you'll begin to say, oh, that looks like an exit to me coming up. And you get one like this, and you look like that, and you say, ooh, that looks like an exit to me. Look at those pin bars. Look at those pin bars. Everything right there. That actually normally would tell you it's going south, but they're the wrong color. Okay. So, and then you get these ledges like this, and it's coming up against the momentum line. God, you can't have a more perfect situation. If you can't bet on that, you can't bet. We'll take your gambling license away from you. There's 191 pips in just that part of it right there, and you didn't even get the good part that I got this morning. See, I didn't get in until about right there. It was 8:40 when I got in. Let's see, where was it? There it is, right there. I got in right there this morning. Waited till that little low ledge formed after that. And it was smooth sailing all the way down there. I took an exit there, and I took a remo there, and it was well over 700 pips on just the pound yen, and on the pound dollar it was about the same. So it's out there, folks. You just got to learn to recognize it. Are y'all excited? You said before that we should trade follow the home base direction, right? What would give you that idea? Is that home base's direction? Absolutely, you trade home base's direction. Absolutely. That's home base direction is down. Actually, it's pretty much when price is underneath home base, you're going to trade south. And when it's above home base, you're going to trade north. Okay. Heck yeah. How do you handle news reports? I don't. I leave them alone. I don't pay any attention to them, and I don't trade around the news. That was one of the first things I said this evening. We do not trade the news, and we don't mess with the news. I don't even want to know that the pound people are going broke. And I don't mean, I mean that for my trading purposes. It does not matter one whit to me. The pound does this, and the charts are going to tell me that something's going on with the pound right there. See, something is going on with the pound this morning. I don't have a clue what caused it to do that. I don't have a clue, and I don't want to get emotionally involved in the news like, the British pound just got a $50 billion bailout. Well, I don't care for trading, because that means that the pound may be going over on this side of the chart tomorrow instead of down here. And as soon as it crosses there, this is going to go down, and they're going to meet, and this is going to cross it, and then I'll look for the rising part of the pound dollar or the pound pairs. Don't pay any attention to news. Forget the news. Don't let anybody ever tell you different. Suckers trade the news. It reminds me of you guys. If Chris, if you're having a heart attack, do you want a heart physician or do you want a chiropractor? A chiropractor specializes in backs, and there are people who specialize in the news trading, and that's their bag. But I don't want any part of it. See, I don't want any part of that. You got to be at the computer at the exact time it happens. You don't get a chance to get in here if the news happened back here, and I don't want to have to commit myself to be here. I may be here, and I may be there here, and I'm still here tonight. So the point is, but that news thing it's just a dummy's game. I mean, you got to make your own rules of what's going to go on with Forex. My job is to give you the rules. Now, if you'll notice now, I want to call your attention to this. The yellow Mo line is offset by 3 from price. The blue balance line is offset 5. And the red balance line is offset 8. And the Mother Nature's home base is offset by 8. The reason for that is so you can see how far, which way the prices are going. If your prices are up in here, you can see which way these lines have a tendency to do. Now that's a Bill Williams trick. I didn't learn it from Bill Williams, but after I read his book, it verified what I already knew, and I thought it was a good idea. So some people, if you don't like this, then you line it up with the price. I don't care. But the Mo way is this way. But once you get experienced enough in trading, you can do it any way you want to do it. You can have indicators at the top. You can have 7 of them at the bottom. But I just told one of our lady traders today that her chart looked like crap. How could she read it? And she removed 4 indicators, and she was astonished. She could actually see what she was doing. Okay. Any more questions? Do you draw the trend line from the top bottom if the can wicks, or is it body on? What? I don't know. I understand your question. I don't care if it's going up. If we're hiding a ledge and want to go down, it's on the bottom. But if you're it could be at the top. If you're trading up, it just depends on what it is. But when you've got a ledge, price has got to go beyond that ledge there. It's got to go beyond that ledge there. Let's see, another situation here. If you're up here, price has got to go above this ledge right there. So it's on the top side. Or it's on this side right there. So it just depends on which way you're trading. And that answer will become obvious when you draw a few ledges. Okay. Let's see what else. Can we have the setup in writing? What are you talking about? I have no idea what you mean by that. Arnold. When I'm going to give you a chart with everything set up for you, what do you need? We do not have a trading manual. We have a reference manual. And only people who have taken the training can understand the reference manual. When I get finished redoing it, I've been redoing it since the last 3 trainings because we've had some minor tweaks, and every time I got a minor tweak, I got to change several pages. And a reference manual is all you're going to need. You're going to remember this stuff. You're going to make this stuff, and you're going to own it. You have to own it. I can't be there trading with you. See? Somebody just asked that question. Do you draw the trend line from the bottom downwards, wick, or is it body only? It doesn't matter. We're not trying to be precise here. What we're doing is getting a point there. You can draw it at the bottom. You can draw it at the wick. You can draw it through the mess. The fact is that what we're looking for is for price to go through that line. Whether it goes through it right there, doesn't make a whole lot of difference on the 5-minute chart. It could on the daily chart, and it could on the 4-hour chart. But we don't have to be that exact. Just the fact that we know that there is a nice ledge, and we're waiting for it to do something. Okay. For a long, does the EMA should be on the top of the Mother Nature? Well, sure. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. 7 times. Everything's got to be above this line for longs, and it's got to be below this line for shorts. And there's some difference about maybe when it first comes through there. There's a dynamic part of it that it can work, see, like this. When it's coming through there, it's not quite through, but it doesn't have to get all the way through. You can get a little ledge type situation there. There's your perfect Mo entry, and you see enough of those, you'll understand why you're okay here, but you're better off here, safer here. I'll put it that way. Okay, now I want to tell you guys this one time. Arnold de Paris is a name. Arnold X is not a name. It's a name and initial, or a nickname. I want you guys to go back to your profiles And if you've taken the training before, I want you to put in there, I have taken max 1, 3, 5, and now 8. So we'll know who the people are that are in there that might be helpful to other people that might live in your same state or whatever. I want you to use your whole name. Vincent Macamole. I hope I pronounced that right. Chris Meyer. Chris D doesn't mean anything to me. Dan X or Dan Jones doesn't mean anything. Dan Smith is a name. But give yourself a last name so when I talk to you on here, I will know. I call Chris New Zealand. That's what NZ stands for, New Zealand. And so please go back and edit your profiles. I have to look at those things all the time, and you'd be amazed that I do read them. You already know I read them. Some of you do, because I booted 2 or 3 guys off because they didn't have one. And they're going to get booted off again. As a matter of fact, Dennis, wherever you are, Dennis Marshall, you need to go back and finish your profile. Mike the Sailor, you got to go finish your profile. Yes, sir. J-A-U-K, well, I can't even spell it. Oh, Fibbo4X is your nickname. I want you to put your name in there, and I want you to go and fill a profile. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from, what you like, why you started trading Forex. Everybody's got a history that's important to them and to somebody else. So do that. I find that I get along, I can relate to my students better if I know who they are and basically what they want. I can't train a nickname. It just doesn't work for me. Now, that's the first thing you got to do. That's got to be done tomorrow. I want you to take a few minutes and go back and change those names and situations. I think we do have a couple of people in here in the group that didn't pay for the training, but we'll find them. And that's not fair to the people who did pay, unless they're on scholarship for some reason or another. But the point is, we have some people, I think, who snuck in, and we do our best, but we can't control everybody. So they're stealing your money and your time. So these are our secrets, guys. They're my secrets, and they will be your secrets, and guard them, because, if people don't understand the max, all they're going to do is I've heard so many bad things about it, and the funny part about it, that every one of them were wrong. Unilaterally, they were wrong. And one guy took the training. He never submitted one bite of homework, and then he said the training didn't work. He posted it on Money Tech. He called it a scam. And I promise you, it's not a scam. And anybody that's taken the training, 90% of the people will tell you that it is a great training method. It may not be the best in the world because I haven't seen them all, but I guarantee you it's better than most of them out there. And it's a hell of a lot cheaper and easier to learn, and that's why people can afford to come back here and take it 2 or 3 times until they get it. They can take it until the light bulb goes on. Finally, we don't do you like, what's his name, Peter Bain and some of those other guys charge you 12. I remember the guy that loves the pivot points. I forget his name. Clay. He went from $250 to $1,250 overnight, and so as far as I know, he's not even doing seminars anymore, because most people can't afford that kind of stuff, and we're going to be the poor men's millionaires, because we're going to fix it so you're going to make some money if you'll do the work and you'll study. I promise you, you will learn how to trade here. Okay. Any other question? I got time for one more. Okay. Let's see. Anybody else that I booted off that is back there? Yeah, Ken Kisaki. I booted him off. He came back. Lillian. Thank you, Lillian. You're back. John Shepard, Dr. John. And who is Jomar? Jomard Great. Jomar D. Great. That's all it is a nickname and an email name. And I booted him off because he didn't provide a profile. And I think he was in because we didn't have him on any of our lists for paying students. So I don't know how he got in, but he got off real quick because he didn't know the proper instructions. He got in by accident. Somebody sent him the access to it. And if you do that, guys, you're just cheating yourself. You can train anybody you want to do the max. All it'll make them do is want to take the training. Okay, Saturday, 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, I think. Is that right, Chris? Yeah, 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. Same time, same place. Do your homework starting tomorrow. Now, listen, Don't you guys, girls, wait until Friday to submit that homework. I want all homework in by noon on Friday. Otherwise, it will not get graded. I promise you. You've got 2.5 days to do that. You need to do a bunch of scrolls. You need to go back to the beginning of a chart. Let's see here. Yeah. Go back to the beginning of a chart. This is the beginning. You need to scroll through it and find these beautiful places. That's right almost at the end of the chart. And look right after. There's all kinds of these great, perfect mow trades. We're not looking for half mows or anything else. We're looking for perfect mow entries. You know, beautiful. And you can see the answer. You can see which ones turned out great, and I'll guarantee you there is a method to find that entry for a perfect mow. That's it for tonight, guys. Craig, thank you. Chris, thank you. Cynthia, if you're there, thank you. Don't enroll any more students, please. We're overbooked on one area here. Okay, so follow your instructions, and we will all get along just great, because everything I tell you to do has a purpose. It is not driven by my ego to boss people around. I don't care what you do, but there are certain things you have to do if you're going to make it successful in trading. And thank you for trusting me with your money and your time and your trading. I'll see you Saturday at 2 o'clock. I'll be on the group every day grading homework. So feel free. Submit all your questions through the groups.